Hello and welcome to Raptors Today. Randy Urban filling in for Akil Augustine. Proud to be joined by Paul Jones and Ashley Docking. How are you both today?
I'm on a win streak, right?
You are
seeing
on
a win streak, right? I'm seeing the Raptors on a win streak.
His pause, I was like, oh no, where are we going? This is going to be dark. But here we are.
All right, Ashley, 24-point win for the Raptors against the Washington Wizards G League team that's substituting as their NBA team. I take that back. That's not nice.
Just doesn't want to get fined.
What stood out to you?
Adam Silver on line one, Randall.
Yeah. At 10-minute quarters, let's go.
No, never.
What stood out in the win to you, Ashley?
That they did what they needed to do. I think when you're playing a team that has 50-11 losses in a row and their makeup is obviously dubious at best, and you know what, I'm sure it's really difficult for them to be in that situation, so like it's easy to kind of make fun of the low-hanging fruit, but the Raptors needed to win this. Mm-hmm. And so death taxes and an RJ Barrett drive to the bucket to start things off, perfect, love to see it, right? And wire-to-wire win against a team that has been struggling. I feel like sometimes we look at this Raptors team and we give them a lot of allowances just because of where they are in their development process, because they've had some injuries, because they're trying to figure out some of the lineups and the rotations. But at the end of the day, like, there are certain games that you do need to win as a professional organization, and they did that. So kudos.
This was a professional win.
I mean, Washington's struggling from a 5-year standpoint.
They are.
Right.
They are. But, like, this is as Ashley said, a game that you look at, you're never supposed to win in the NBA, but you look at this game and say, if we do this properly, we're going to win this game. And it was, in my eyes, what I would call from the back in the days when Kyle and DeMar and the Raptors were in that period where they were winning, 48, 49, 50-plus games. This was one of those professional wins. Mm-hmm. We're better. We're going to go in. They got a big lead, and Washington never got close. It's not like, there's going to be a run, and it's going to – no run. So, we're up 15. We're up 18. We're up 27. Like, you are not getting close. And that is kind of the concrete, pouring the foundation for a good team in terms of your professionalism. Like, get your work done, and – there's no questions asked.
So then what's changed? We're going to talk about the defense in the next block. And obviously I don't want to mention health all the time. But, Ashley, what else has changed?
Well, strength of schedule. Mm-hmm. I think, sorry, not to revert back to that, but it's like you're beating the Atlanta Hawks, you're beating the Pelicans, you're beating now the Wizards, and you're running into a 5-game win streak, which is the longest current streak in the NBA aside from the New York Knicks. So I think it's not everything, but it's certainly not nothing. And then I also think that they've been able to have a little bit more consistency, if you will. Like, I know IQ is somebody who the Raptors want in the lineup, and it's not like this is a false equivalency, like the Raptors are better without him. I don't necessarily think that that's something that you want to get into the narrative of. But when you have less mouths to feed, like IQ, like Kelly Olynyk, you get some more familiarity, maybe an opportunity to have more chemistry with players that are going to know a little bit more what their roles are going to be on any given night.
It's an opportunity for those guys. When the next man up mentality is, Randall, I'm sorry you're hurt, but I got to get in there. I got to get in there and perform in your spot,
Jonesy's
right?
low-key Tanya Harding.
No.
Randall, I'm sorry that your knee's busted with this wrench in my
but
hand.
You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's out, it means a chance for somebody else.
Yeah.
And Jamal Shed, Davion Mitchell, guys are taking advantage of their opportunity. And the thing that I love about this Raptors team is they all revel in each other's successes. They do. There's a camaraderie and a chemistry built that. I mean, you see guys making threes on the bench, and the guys on the bench are standing up, and they're all celebrating. They like each other. Bruce, tip of the cowboy hat, right? They play for one another. And,
that's what I hear when he does it. Sorry.
And to Ashley's point about strength of schedule, and you didn't want to mention health, but tell me a team where you can take away their top 4 or 5 rotation players and they can still win consistently. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And this is the team that many thought we were going to see at the start of the year when they were healthy. And it's coming to fruition now. And yes, the schedule has given some lesser opponents, but you can only play who's in front of you. And could you imagine the howls had you lost to some of those teams? Like Atlanta was a 500 team, and they're one of the surprises.
Well,
and the Raptors are healthy.
right?
There you go.
They beat Boston. They only lost to the Bucks in this latest stretch.
And look,
They beat Orlando.
It is hard to go into another team's city and beat them twice, whether they're in the play-in or they're 10th or 12th or wherever they are. That just doesn't happen often. So there's something that's changed. We're going to get into the defense, but there's just something that's changed about the intensity too. Guys are just playing with more attention to detail.
I think that comes from, for me, it comes from leadership. We're going to get into the defense, but.
Yeah.
Davion Mitchell,
Scottie
let's
and
just say what it is.
Davion,
Yeah.
the way their intensity has been on the defensive end, like teams that are a little suspect, if the ball's going in, their defense is good. If you're serious about your game, your defense travels every night wherever you are, and that's what we're starting.
And we know what Scottie can do on the basketball court, but what we're seeing now is when he's taking his time, when he's picking his spots to be as effective as he can be, I think I'm seeing a little difference in how he's leading. He can obviously score the basketball, he can obviously rebound and distribute, but the way he's doing it, when he's doing it, and how he's doing it has subtly changed to a point where this is clearly being his team. Like, he took over in Atlanta.
Yeah. I think he's eschewing the three ball a little bit more and realizing
Get rid of it for a bit.
realizing that, you know what? I can play big boy ball with
Yeah.
some of these guys. Get in the paint, play the mid-range.
It's unselfish too, to a degree, right?
Very.
Like, he's cutting through the paint and he's causing a lot of distraction and he's looking for the ball and making himself available. But because of the way that he can score in the mid-range, the way that he can get to the bucket, other teams have to pay attention to that. And you take your eyes off Grady Dick, for an example, for a second, then he gets a little bit more space. Davion Mitchell knocking down some shots. Like, that is all precipitated around what Scottie Barnes can bring to the floor.
All right, great stuff, team. Now it's time to check in on what the players had to say after the game.
How are you guys able to really set that tone defensively and limit their three-point shooting and just overall scoring?
I think on this team, a lot of people love defense, me included. But like when you got the best player, Scottie Barnes, preaching, let's guard. He's clapping. He's like the loudest one on the floor. Like, you kind of have to have that energy. You don't want to be the odd man out. You see RJ step up defensively. Yak always helps us when we make mistakes. He always that back help. Ochai did a really good job of guarding his man. Everyone's just like a collective thing. You got Jamal coming out the bench, guard just as well as me. Jacoby playing hard. So it's just like everyone loves the defensive end, and I feel like if you do that, we're going to be a good defensive team.
Winning streak right now, what does that do for the momentum and the psyche of this club?
I mean, honestly, the game's over with. Those past games are over with. On to the next one. Try to win each one. I don't think we'll look at the win streak. We just kind of each game take it like it's one game at a time.
What do you think was the biggest thing today on the defensive end?
Stay in front of the ball, helping one another out, being aggressive, kind of putting them on their heels. We wasn't on our heels. Denying Jordan Poole when we had a chance. We know he's their go-to guy. So I think our team did a really good job of that. Yeah.
5-game win streak sound to you?
Feels amazing, right? We had some tough stretches this year, and now as we getting healthy and getting everyone back, we're winning some games, so it feels good.
What about your team that you guys are able to, especially recently, this 5-game win streak, come out so hard and aggressively defensively?
Yeah, I mean, we're locked in on defense. That leads to our offense, getting out in transition. We don't score the ball every time, but that just gains confidence for us on that end. I think Davion did a great job tonight on Jordan Poole, Maul. Kobe got out there and guarded him a little bit, so just doing it collectively.
Welcome back to Raptors Today. Randy Urban alongside Ashley Docking and Paul Jones. Jonesy, the defense has been there all month for the Raptors.
I kind of hinted at it before, right?
I think we did.
I don't think it was a hint. It was very on the nose.
The fact that your defense should be able to travel and you shouldn't be impacted. Your defense should not be impacted by your offense. Once you've pierced that ceiling that your defense is consistent, then you're going to be in every game. You're going to win games. The Raptors are 8 wins this month, and the defensive rankings are, and it starts for me, and Ashley talked about Davion Mitchell, it starts with Scottie and then Davion. Both of those two guys. And the thing is, it's contagious. You see other guys. I mean, Scottie took on the challenge with Tatum, with Banchero. Like last night, he was in Kyle Kuzma's kitchen. He's clapping his hands in his face and, maybe inciting the guy. But at the same time, this is what he was about. And you see other guys doing it too. People have always said, "Oh, RJ doesn't play defense." Just watch him. He's in his stance. He's moving his feet. You can question with any player the effectiveness, especially with the rules now, but it's an all-out effort by the Raptors right now. Every guy, and it's paying dividends.
Is it just effort, Ashley, that's the responsible for the turnaround?
No, I think it's confidence and I think it's timing. So you mentioned the tandem of Davion Mitchell and
Nice.
Scottie Barnes, and you say that, yeah, okay, Scottie is the one who's going to be leading this team into the future. But with Davion Mitchell at least stopping the initial point of attack, I think it A, gives your team time to set up. B, if the other team is not scoring off like the first back cut and opportunity that they see, they need to get further in on their play action, second, third opportunities, later in the shot clock, maybe rushing something. I think that helps. And we all know Scottie is best when he's kind of like that rogue FBI agent. You know, there's TV shows made of it all the time. It's like, oh, here comes Jonesy again, not following orders, causing the department a ton of cash, but ultimately getting the job done. And I feel like that's when Scottie's the best at defense. When he can play a little fast and loose, when he can take a little bit of risks, but you need somebody anchoring you down at the top. And so far that has been Mitchell, who's allowed Scottie to make those jumps when he can and not necessarily worry about the rest.
And the other half of Davion Mitchell is Jamal Shed.
Yeah.
Because he's doing the same thing. He's watching Davion. Like, that's working for us. When I go in, I'm doing the same thing. I'm fighting over screens and getting offensive fouls on moving screens. I'm going to shoot the ball when I'm open and it's a good shot for me. I'm going to get into the paint and distribute. I'm going to crack back. I'm going to be scrapping for loose balls in the lane. They're the same guy. They're the same guy, and it's been terrific.
And I want to give a shout out to Bruce Brown because I know that we didn't really want to talk about health, but his health and coming back has been a major factor.
Huge.
Both offensive.
Offensively and defensively, I got you.
Defensively. Offensively, he just gives a different sort of look, right? He'll get into the paint and give a floater that, you know, we're not used to seeing from a guy that size. But defensively, he really, really gets after it too.
Bruce is, to me, you need a guy like that on your team. He is like, he's the ultimate junkyard dog. Mm-hmm. He's always around the ball at both ends. He's hitting those floaters in the lane.
Super skilled too. It's not like he's just this energy guy that's causing disruption. Like, he actually makes shots.
What I love is the joy that he plays the game with, right? He's complaining to the ref, but he's smiling. He's like, "Hey, wasn't that a foul?" He's like looking at the ref like, "That was a foul, right? Mm-hmm. That was a foul." And he has this enthusiasm, this joy that he plays with, and he's making plays, and guys are slapping five. And what's this one, Ashley?
Howdy, ma'am.
When he takes he's talking to the other bench. You just love that. He's a great teammate in that sense.
And when he was off on the sideline, there was not 1 ounce of whinging, of complaining, of anything. He seemed to be, and you guys would know more than me, you're closer to the team, but he seemed to be very much like, I'm trying to get better and I'm here to support, and the rest is what it is. There's no frustration, at least outwardly. There was no negative energy, negative vibes. And say what you want for a team that, again, is fighting to figure out, like, who is our 7, 8, 9 players of the future in terms of, like, on the bench. Every one of those guys that we mentioned, Shed, Mitchell, Brown to a degree as well, they're also fighting for
Boucher.
a spot. Chris, oh my gosh, right? Chris Boucher, I know. And then I will say, remember when we were talking about Davion Mitchell like a few weeks ago? And we're talking about the one thing that you give up with him is the offense. And I'm not sitting here to say that he's like an offensive juggernaut, obviously. He had 7 points last night. But again, picking his spots, he was 100% from three. He was fantastic when he needed to be. He got them out of some tough late shot clock situations. And so if you can get at least that confidence where he's a threat to make those shots, that just adds another level to his game as well.
And, you know, Coach Darko is so pleased with what he's getting on that side of the ball because he does hold the team to a high standard on the defensive end, and he spoke after the game.
What did you see out there tonight?
I thought that we played with a lot of intensity on defensive end from the start of the game, the way we open up the game. Scottie, RJ, Davion did an outstanding job pressuring the ball. Ochai was really good. Yak did a really good job protecting the rim, and the start of the game really set the tone for us. The good thing is that we kept the foot on the gas during the full game. We did not stop. We did not retreat. We just continued competing. So really proud of our effort tonight.
From that standpoint, the defensive effort tonight throughout the game, you happy with that?
Yes, I am. I thought that we really competed. We executed the game plan really well, so I'm really proud of that.
Coach Reese, tonight was a great win. We've also seen some pretty bad losses this season, but where would you pinpoint the turning point for your team heading into this 5-game win streak now?
I think everything starts with our defense, and guys right now, they really believe in each other. All the credits, they go to players. They're playing really hard. They're the ones out there executing. Our guys doing an outstanding job. Every scouting, every video session, they're really engaged. They're talking. And that's something that did not change. When we were losing games, close games, we were losing big, our guys, they always stayed together, and we had nothing pretty much changed. We're just winning games right now.
It's Damon Stoudemire, and thanks for watching the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest videos and subscribe for more.
Stoudemire launches a three, knocks it in. Stoudemire. Yes! What a David Stoudemire.